What's up, Toasters? My name's Sky, and I go over an investing topic every week so that maybe I can help the average Joe like me. Today marks the third week of the month, which usually means it's pretty much over. Because let's face it, you don't normally remember the middle of the month. It's either the beginning or the end. So, in light of that, I'd like to try something new for you guys listening to me. First of all, though, thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoy this podcast as much as I enjoy creating it. It's a blast for me, so why not try to help people out with it? Every third week, I'm going to do a monthly news recap for the highlights in business news that you may need to be aware of. For your stocks. I'll most likely keep gossip out of it, though, even though that seems to be what news is these days. Welcome to Toasty Money. Now let's get toasty. All right, Toasters, it's that time again. I don't often get the chance to tell you how I got started, and honestly, I don't want to bore you with the entire story. Actually, if you want that, you can check out my website at skyeday.co. One of the main things that made it super easy to get into podcasting for me, though, is Blueberry. Blueberry is absolutely one of the best podcast hosting services around, and it's priced cheaper than most of them, even Podbean. The fact is, a host is normally just a host. But Blueberry is more than that because they created a stellar WordPress plugin that makes it as simple as writing a blog post to upload and distribute your latest and greatest episodes. How awesome is that? I don't want to ruin the recipe, so I won't go too far into the details, but I think you get it. If you've ever wanted to get yourself out there and start podcasting or creating new exciting content, now's the time. The hardest part is actually starting, and trust me, I get that. Hit me up with any questions you might have on podcasting at my email listed in the show notes. Peace, love, and podcasting. Now, back to the show. All right, guys, what a time to be alive. Actually, the time is to be a general manager at a fast food joint because holy crap, they're making bank now. General managers of fast food franchises are on the rise. As far as salaries are concerned, Taco Bell is trying out a new plan in the Midwest mainly to pay their GMs $100,000 a year or more. Great job, T-Bell, and keep it coming. For reference, In-N-Out does the same type of thing, but a lot of their GMs actually get an average of $160K. That's the average. But have you tried the double-decker taco? TBH, pretty dang good. Also, pretty dang bad for you. But I'm not sure you care when T-Bell is the only thing open and cooking just sounds like cleaning your room. NBC is bringing their own fuel to the streaming fire with what they're calling Peacock. I don't know about you, but it's been said there's always an innovator, then there's the imitator, and then there's the idiot. Which one is Peacock? Let me know what you think. I want to hear your opinions about the future of streaming. At Toasty Sky on Twitter or email me, skyeday@skyfi.co. On my end, though, I'm becoming increasingly skeptical of these streaming services due to the lack of content creation happening before opening up the streaming floodgates. Taking Disney Plus, for example. They have plans, quotes, to introduce a treasure trove of content, but when it was released, they have their classics, tons of trailers, and The Mandalorian. So basically, what you're saying is, if you don't have kids, you get one show out of the deal for right now. It reminds me of Netflix back in the day when they began creating original content, although they already had titles from all makes and models lined up at their doorstep to be a part of the creation station. We'll see what happens within the next couple years, but for now, I think Netflix is safe in the number one spot for streaming across the world. What's more, America only accounts for 33% of total Netflix subscriptions, so I don't think a peacock is going to scare them. In this instance, Netflix is the predator bird, like a hawk, and, well, peacock is a peacock. Moving on, SoftBank began some employee layoffs in their investments, including Uber, WeWork, of course, and a couple of others that I honestly can't even remember the names of, because tech startups these days are a dime a dozen. But some say this could finally be a turning point in the San Fran business model where you don't have to be profitable to be profitable. I mean, we'll see what's next for SoftBank. That's all I can say about that. I think SoftBank has it rough right now, that's for sure. But I also think there's another turning point people may not be thinking about as far as investing goes. And that's venture capitalists, private equity firms, and activist investors are beginning to look a lot like the Addams family. They're very different from each other, but they all seem to be under one roof. And that is, they all seem to be borrowing each other's strategies for investing. So that makes them indifferent. And speaking of private equity, Dave & Buster's is feeling the activist vibe from KKR. KKR announced they have a 10.7% stake in D&B, and yes, that's all it takes to start pushing your agenda on a company. Crazy, isn't it? Actually, some PE groups like KKR, Golden State Capital, and Sycamore buy under 5% of the company so they can get into the faces of management. They don't need more than that. That's insane. Next up, we got the Forum, a World Economic Forum that actually happened today. Anyway, Trump and Greta Thunberg were ramping up to join approximately 119 billionaires in Switzerland for the 50th annual World Economic Forum. Or that's kind of what I'm seeing it called anyway. I don't actually know a ton about this thing. The government was partially shut down last year, so this might make for some decent YouTube parodies of the speakers. Stay tuned. Since Trump couldn't join last year, we'll see what happens. Middle of January, which is actually exactly on January 15th, the U.S. and China put one in the history books by signing a trade deal. Kind of. China agreed they would buy $200 billion or so in exports from the U.S. over the next 2 years. Whether it actually happens or not is beyond me. Meanwhile, Huawei doesn't know how long it has on the tech shelf and fears there may be some consequences for data breaching that I feel like most people still don't even really know about. We might get some closure at this forum in Switzerland, though, because Huawei CEO is speaking there, most likely to plea for his company in the face of lots of management. All in all, guys, trade negotiations aren't over, and I don't think they will be anytime soon, so we may be in for the 2019 2.0 when September 2020 hits. So get your options trades ready. And that's been your Toasty Money News Recap for the month. I hope you guys got something from that. If you didn't, I'm sorry. It's really short right now. This is new for me. I'm trying to challenge myself just like you should challenge yourself. Guys, get into the stock market today. I have content out there for you to follow. If you haven't followed it yet, please get it going, man. Subscribe. Skyeday.co, Google Podcasts, iTunes Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any other podcast app you guys use. I got you. I have another show too, guys. It's called The Unpopular Opinion. I go over controversial topics using casual conversation to do so, trying to use facts instead of the bias of a media. All right, guys, as you know, I hate that. So, please subscribe, and thanks for watching or listening to Toasty Money. Yet another toasty creation. Guys, stay toasty. Subscribe. Toasty.